All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening for everyone. So today we're gonna do some fun. So Joe, part of the Flow Fuse team, asked me if I could help build some example dashboards today. What I mean by example dashboards for Dashboards 2.0 is we have, if we go to node-red.org and we go to our flows, let's search in Flow Fuse. Excuse me. Here we go. Sorry about that. The Flow Fuse node red dashboards, he was like, I've got this error on my scorecard that says we don't have examples. We're going to do that for him today. We're going to build out some examples. And what that means is if you're inside of your Node-RED environment and you click on import, you go over here to examples, all of your, hey, there's my examples. Get started. Nice. All of your examples are going to show up here and you'll be able to import them. So if you got your dashboards 2.0 and you're like, how do I build this dashboard? This is going to be a great spot. We're going to build these out for you today. We're going to start off, we're going to be doing some like bar charts, some scatter plots and things like that. We're going to be enlisting the help of ChatGPT to maybe build out some sample data. I normally like to use this cool little data ingest tool if I've got it. I don't think I've got it installed, but I might install it so I can show you guys. But that's what we're going to do today. Low key. We're going to be spending some time in Git so we can figure out how that kind of interacts, so we can update things. We are doing this locally for development on a Node-RED instance, so not using FlowFuse today, but all for the benefit. So hope you enjoy, have some fun, and if you have questions, especially if you're like, hey, how do you build out this specific dashboard, let me know, and maybe that can be one of the ones we work on first. So with that being said, I have not set up any of my environments, so we gotta download. Do I even have dashboards installed on this one? Yeah, I've got dashboards. Manage palette. And yep, there's the FlowFuse dashboard 2.0 update. You can get the latest version of the dashboards. And we're gonna find out where that is. I always forget. I always struggle on Windows where everything's. I want to say it's like the home directory node modules. So let's see if we can find it real quick. Find folder. All right, yeah. Let's restart our instance, and it is Node-RED, node modules. You'll be looking for @FlowFuse. Node-RED function GPT. That's not the one. We want this one right here. Perfect. And of course I trust. That is me. The next thing we need to see is here. Let's go with the GitHub. So if we say Node-RED dashboard 2.0, probably been better FlowFuse. There we go. Node-RED dashboard 2.0. Go to the GitHub repository. And I believe the examples needs to be there in that structure. So if we come back over here, sorry, I crushed some food right before starting the stream just so I could didn't have to go hungry this stream. So Node-RED examples. The package should include examples flows that demonstrate each node. The tool will check the examples folder and any nested folder for JSON flow files. It will iterate over the flows files and look for the nodes used in the flows and ensure that all nodes declared in the package are used in an example at least once. Config nodes are excluded from the check. Examples are an excellent way for users to understand how to use a node. Reference. Example flows. So to create an example, add a flow to the file example directory in your node package. we're see the packaging, make sure we get it in the right. Okay, cool. So that's what we need to do. So here we need to have our structure. And I don't think I'm going to be able to do it from the palette manager because I need to download it via Git so that I have the Git repository because it's not showing me any Git information. So, okay, let's do that real quick. I'm thinking right now because I have this particular project and I've been working on it. My dashboards and stuff like that. How many dashboards do I have on this one? I have OPC, barcode scanner. I don't really have that much here. So we're going to go to our palette manager and we got to delete our FlowFuse Node-RED dashboard. And I need to go to UI base. So we're just going to go through and look at my, is it here? Palettes, no. And look at, so we need to go UI group. We're just going to go through each one of these and make sure we delete any of the templates. So we're just going to do it. Really didn't do too much dashboarding. It's just been, there's going to be one dashboard here. And then we're going to deploy, search unused nodes, pizza, delete. And barcode scanner, delete. UI page, delete. And I think if I delete now, can I delete my palette manager? So I have UI Markdown. That's the only one I'm missing now. So what? How do I delete UI Markdown? Oh, there we go. And we gotta delete, I think, cheese too. If I go to my manage palettes again, I can remove this. Perfect. Ooh, that might yell at me over here. No, it didn't yell at me. That's good, that's good, that's good. Yeah, so we don't have anything there, so we're gonna say, let's navigate here. So we CD into .node, and then node modules, ls, and we CD flow. I think it's add flow. Let's navigate here. Yeah, it's at FlowFuse. Cool. Okay, so just gonna copy that. CD. Perfect. ls clear. I don't know if I want to put it here. Just maybe you just put it in the node module cd. Yeah, cd dot. All right. So now we need to get. No, we don't want to do. Yeah. So we'll get clone. That's our get. Perfect. And then we need cd node red dashboard. Perfect. ls npm install. So now we should have this installed. We'll restart node red once that's finished, and we should be able to see the dashboards now. Now we can edit, and then after we do our updates, we can push them back up into the repository. Nice. I have not worked with it. Maybe that's one of the things we'll do today. We'll start with the new gauge node. Literally got off the phone with Joe a second ago, and he was pretty excited about it. So we'll work with the new gauge. Maybe that'll be the first thing we do. And if you got any tips, I haven't worked with it yet. Maybe I need them. All right. So let's restart node red. It looks like it removed those, but we're gonna start again, see if we get any errors. That's just all OPC node errors. Errors because there's no client. So now I'll switch back over and close this. Let's just refresh. See if we got any. Dashboard 2.0. So we've got it installed. It is not in the palette manager. So you'll see FlowFuse dashboard. Actually, it's right there. And all the nodes. And now we can start editing them. And let's get our system ready to go with that. So open folder. That's not going to be here. We're going to be in node red dashboard, and we're going to open that folder. So now, cool. And we're going to create a new, not a new file, a new folder, and we're going to call this examples. And now within the examples, this is where we're going to be creating each of these. So Mechatronica made, we're going to start with the gauge. It's going to yell at me. Okay. And the first thing I wanted to do is just take a look and see if we got any document. He does got some documentation for us. Perfect. All right, I get. We'll test that out. If there's something we can do or fix it, I'll make sure we'll make a note of that an issue. I gotta pause real quick. My dogs are like barking in the background, so be right back. Right back. Oh, one of my dogs still stinks. He got skunked last week. I don't know about you guys, but if you've ever been around an animal or ever been skunked, it's quite miserable for every party involved. It's, you smell skunk on the side of the road. It's like, wow, that's terrible. But up close and personal, it smells like burning tires and raw garlic. Really weird combination, but all right, I digress. Okay. Nice. Glad to hear that, Nader. That is, yeah, it makes it, it kind of, and I came from the Splunk background with kind of using the unstructured database. It allows you just to push data in, and then once you push data in, like, again, structured databases are really good when it is structured data that is always predictable, but sometimes you just need to get data in and then you can do calculations later. And over time, what you do is you migrate from those MongoDB or unstructured databases to a structured database. So glad that I was able to help. And yeah, if you have any questions or things like that, but congratulations on earning your degree. That is super awesome. All right, so and what are we gonna? I'm just gonna default everything. Yeah, done. And we'll worry about. Oh, it's gonna. It didn't like that. I didn't add a theme. We're gonna add a theme. Deploy. Oh, okay. And we're done with this for right now. So let's go back over to the documentation. See what we have far as documentations for the new UI gauge. Okay, so I need to figure out what the structure of the data needs to be like. Mechatronica made. Do you think you can drop in chat the structure of the data just for me to kind of? I probably could figure it out, but instead of wasting everybody's time, if you got that handy, that'd be great. Is it like just like value would be my guess? Temp. And we're gonna say 0 to. Actually, we're gonna add another one for temp. Can I not? Ooh. That's interesting. Okay, so we're gonna make this red. I'm gonna say it's bad temperature. At 65 and below, and then it's green if it's up to 74, and then above to 100 it is red. So now we have a temperature range. It's just like we're gonna do make a house temperature or something like that. Home temp. And units we're gonna call, I can't spell Fahrenheit. Use the good old classic spell checker for me. Cool. Fahrenheit. And we're gonna make this needle calf gauge. Labeling gauge, prefix, suffix tags. I wonder if it's just as simple as just injecting message.payload with the value. Number 15. Yeah, degrees F. But I don't know how to do that small degree symbol. At least not for maybe. Okay, this is example, so I gotta make sure I put like legitimate examples. Deploy. And if I refresh this, oops, you don't have. That's not what I want to do. No such files. That's weird. Seems like it's struggling because it's like a page name of dashboard. Okay, what did I do wrong? Give it a shot. Yeah, it's still giving me that same error. No. So it looks... Actually, so yeah. And then we'll call this path cheese. Just out of curiosity, we'll just see if we can get a path cheese. No, that's weird. Yeah, we just, yeah. All right. Already started off to a rocky start. No, that's not what I do. Page name. Yeah, just dashboard. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start this over real quick. Because I went through there awfully quick. I'm gonna go through it a little bit quicker this time, or slower. I should do a regular old text. Just something simple. Drop it in here. Add a new UI group. New UI page. And add a new UI base. Done. And we're gonna call this, we'll call this page 1. Adding a theme, add name, done. Then it's very interesting. I always felt like we could start off as dashboard. My brain's it's been a little bit. And great. Deploy. And that's still gonna tell us page 1. Let's go back to make sure I installed it correctly. It's been a little bit since I've been manually installed it. I know what I'm gonna do. I've got what am I doing? Okay, so flows, node-red.org, flows, and then I have my Splunk one. I've just got to see a command real quick. Because I know I've got it saved here. npl, maybe I should do global install. I think that might be it. Yeah. cd the npm install it, right? Shit. Not in Linux, so I can't. Wonder if the permissions or something like that's not right. Very Windows situation going on. Oh. Properties. Security. Sure, security and everything is there. Okay. All right. I'm just asking some technical support rubber. I think probably when I was trying to delete everything, I might have messed something up as far as my dashboards. Because I feel like I normally have just like a slash dashboards page. Right? There's the dashboards page. Add. Date. Joe coming in clutch. Okay, git clone done. npm run build. That's what I need to run. So cd node red dashboard npm run build. That's what I didn't do. Just run build. Okay. So probably need to restart node red. You know what they say is if you read the manual, it'll tell you everything you need. All right. Perfect. So, moving on. So if you ever need to know how to install Node-RED manually, for especially testing purposes, go here to the contributing block. And that's what we're going to be doing today. So, git clone. So we're good. Now that we've done that, we can now see that we've gotten that information. Let's now move back into the radio gauge. And we're going to drop this here. We're going to select that page 1. Happy. Gauge. I probably shouldn't do happy. I should really come up with better names. Although I would like to do funny, silly names. I don't think Joe would probably appreciate that. So let's call this one temperature. And I need to talk to him about that because I can't slide this. Copying your degrees F. We're going to drop that down here as units. We're going to say 65. You know what? Instead of red, we're going to do blue because that is cold. Very cold. And then this will be green. This will be red. So 65 to say 73. It's 100. If I do that correct, I think that's how that should work. Max 100. Okay, cool. That's 0 to 100, so it's blue to... Make sure I understand that correctly. It's blue to 65. Let's just put a temperature in here. Okay. It says 15 and it says green. So I think I've gotten that. Oh. That's just the... This is for the segments. Let's read the documentation again. Okay. I wonder how I changed those. just read the documentation again. So what I'm seeing here is I got 65, and that's changing my base barcode, but I want to see it with that outside code, if that's possible. Maybe I just need to do it rounded. I wonder if... Yeah, I like the needle. Red 80. String. Something tells me that's... So it's changing the value, but if I do 65, does that change? Yeah, see, that's not changing my... I've got to keep it as a number that changes. Do I have this enabled? So, okay. So, right. But the 0 to 65. So let's think about this for a second. So if I change this to, like, say 50, it's the range of min and max, and 65, deploy 86, we should be red because we're above that. So maybe I'm getting my numbers wrong. So I need to actually step it up. So this is actually 0. This is 65. This is 73. And this is forever. Then I deploy. I didn't do exactly 0 to 65. Okay, now for some reason that's so if I do 66, deploy, boom. Okay, now that's looking like what I expect it to be. Perfect. So now I will also want to change it. Kind of want to do 3/4, and I like the needle. Deploy. Perfect. And then I don't want that anymore. And so deploy 72. Leave this one because we don't need that. And that's just like a simple way of running this. Cool. So now we've got temperature. I'm not going to make it too complicated just because it just should be simple as this. So I don't want to make complex examples. But that's a good starting point. So what we'll do now, let's export this. So Control E, JSON, copy clipboard. Now I need to figure out how my examples should look. We were looking at the example structure. So something dot example dot JSON. So this is going to be gauge examples. We're going to have a new file called gauge.json. Paste that in. Then save. So now, if I reload, let's just test this out. Control C, node red. And if I drop in here, look at my, let's refresh it because it might be cached. Last tab. And I look at import and I go to my examples. Gauge right there. Import copy. Okay, so one of the things I also need to do is when I import the copy, I need to delete the UI base and things like that, because that things will start getting complicated. I need to have a secondary system that I can test this on to make sure I get these right. But for now, we got a starting point. So let's just leave it as is. Let's delete these. And make sure when I go into my, what did I just click on? Close, did I just click on add? Oh well. So when I come over here to all of my objects, or my, let's see, what's the words I'm looking for? Config panel. I should only, if I import something that already has like a, say a UI dashboard or UI base, I may not want to import those every single time for examples. So what we'll do is we're going to set all these up, and then we'll come through here and delete all these UI base, UI group, UI page, UI theme, so that when you import it, you'll have to configure those to however you're liking. Right? That sounds good. That's what I'm going to do. So we'll just build all these out. So we've got gauge. Let's do one of the other ones. A form. Adds a form to the interface. I haven't used the form yet, so it sounds like a good opportunity to figure that out. Look at the documentation. There we go. Form. Adds a form to the user interface, which helps collect multiple value from the user on submit button. So just like a standard form. Okay. Figure this out. Ooh. Temp. Temperature is, we'll make this a string number. It's gonna be 72. Button submit, clear. Ooh, do we want it as a message.topic or message.payload? And let's do this. Okay, temp. And put a debug. Actually, I'll just do it this way. Debug node. and payload. Done. So now when I go to my debug node, 72, submit. There we go. Ooh. Ooh. That's weird. Let's look at that again. Opinion. Oh. That's my problem, is I gave it a name of 72 and really... Okay, alright. So this needs to be temp for my name value pair. And if I leave that done, deploy that, so if... I'm gonna turn these off so I don't get these alerts anymore. Yes, thank you. All right, so when I say 72 and submit my temp, so that's my name value pair. Okay. I don't know why that was so hard for my brain to process, but it was. Kind of curious if how that will work. I do 73, we'll do 73. Okay, yeah. Because we need to probably do some transformation, basically define what that was. So we do something like a change node right there, say set message.payload with message.temp. Message.payload.temp. Deploy. So now when I do 73, submit. Ah. It's a type number, but it's interpreting as a string. Because that's... Is that a string? Just write this to debug. I'm tired of this thing resetting the form after submitting. 75, submit. Okay, why did that work that time? Okay. I don't know what happened before. Maybe it was just something weird, but it's working now. So that's how you would do it if you're wanting to write a... What we can do is we can just make this form to... I need to keep these all separated. I think at the output of the UI form, nodes have to be message of payload at temp. Yeah. You need to either modify the topic to message of payload. Yeah. Yeah. And there's a little bit of delay and the communication. I shouldn't have it on my side, but it seems like it's being said. But no, that's really good information. Thank you for helping out. Because sometimes there's things that like take me way too long. So for now, we're just gonna copy this one, and I'm gonna put that one there. And this is just gonna be like my next example, like form to gauge, and then we'll have form or input structure to gauge. Deploy that because I want to separate these because once I delete all of the UI bases and things like that, I want that all to be functioning the way I expect. Okay, so I've done that. So if I do like 72, we're gonna actually see this one change there. Cool. Now let's look at the next one. We're just gonna go down the list and make an example for all of them. Text input, and we'll say temp set point, and we'll leave this on the same group page. Payload to current value when so is that dumping that out as? Oh, I need to create a button for this one to instantiate it, so let's drop a button here, which is kind of like I'm making a custom version of this form, pretty much. So it's not really quite necessary to do this one. Potato, and so I should see potato there as the string being sent out. No problem, glad you like these. Glad they're helpful. We might even try out we gotta try out some of the things. So there was a blog yesterday that Nick made. Actually, just a good time to talk about, and we should try out some of these tools. So blog, Nick O'Leary, right here. So he talked about this cool thing called debugging node, the Node-RED debugging plugin. Let's install this. I want to see what it does because that might make our lives a little bit easier today. So we're gonna do manage palettes, install. Set breakpoints on nodes or inputs. Pause the runtime manually or when the payload. Okay, that's cool. Maybe we won't be using that right now. Install failed. That's basically the same thing. Alright, we won't use this. Just kidding. We'll figure that out later. Let's focus on dashboards today. Alright. So we got a button, and that did something weird that I wasn't expecting. It sent 2 payloads. It sent, where is it? There we go. It sent 2 payloads. So let's say I say potato again, and I run this. I get the first one, which is the payload to pass the value in, even though I said that is temp set point. wonder if what happens if I just do a regular old inject node and just in one quick way, if you're ever curious about how to select everything like I just did right there without having to like drag and select everything, if you hold down shift and select and click on one of them, it'll actually select everything that is connected to, so then you can drag them all as a whole. If you then shift collect and then you shift or control click on one of them, it'll select everything minus the one that you just unclick. So I try to figure out these little like shortcuts and let everybody know them as I figure them out. So all right, let's try this again. So we said potato and delete that. So when I click timestamp, it set my timestamp. So let's figure out how this thing works rather than just guessing. So we can pick it. It's very similar to the field thing below up there. The interesting thing is it didn't even pass potato on. Did it? The topic was a number of a type number, so we're gonna delete that. So we're not gonna. Oh, that's what it was. If a message arrives in input, pass through to output. So basically it was just duplicating because that button was checked. Now I'm actually kind of curious what outputs from button that kicks this off. So let's just delete that. We don't need timestamp anymore. And I'm gonna change this to modified flows only, or modified nodes only, so I can get less of those alerts. Oh. Yeah. So let's say potato, and button. 20 sent nothing through, which is fine. That's the pass through. We get 2 pass throughs. But if I send message.payload, if I do back to that inject node and I want to inject, this is very interesting. Potato. I've forgotten how to spell potato. Here, it can actually auto-populate this here. That might be really useful if you're thinking about when barcode scanner or something like that, where you want to have a little bit of user input. So you're sitting on a processing line and you have barcode scanner, scan item, and then I say, oh, there it goes, it pops into my traffic. And it doesn't, so if I say potato goes through, wait a second. Didn't I just turn that off to say, oh, to not pass through? Sorry, my brain's thinking. So if I have a barcode scanner here, delete this, and therefore my barcode scanner can automatically populate this system. It doesn't pass through here until I click the button. And then at that point, when I click the button, we can turn this one off now that I understand how it works. Did I? Yeah. And so you can have some like user intervention allowing you to take a little bit of sense of control, so it's not like click go, or I'll get my barcode scanner here, so I'm not like boop and then it automatically triggers something. What it can do is say boop, load value, and then do some action or allow some intervention. And depending on how, I bet you could do like even a payload management, so therefore your QR code would be like a JSON structure, so I would have to only, when I select things, I would say my JSON structure would tell me which set point I go to. I have some views of like how I can approach it, and then click the button to submit. Sorry, getting unnecessary into some of these weeds, but I just kind of think about them out loud because I try to figure out like how could you apply this somewhere. All right, so at the end of the day, we don't really want potato here. We're gonna have a UI button that allows me to key in information, then pass it along, and the default value of this is going to be a number. Done. So ooh, that's interesting. So numbers are, somehow change it to password, but I want a number. But that is cool that you can put a password too. I wonder how that passes through if it's still clear text. No. Doesn't let me put in text, so if I type in this, come on. Cool. All right, so we will call this temp set point number and click done debug. So I want to change button to enter. Let's see if we can change some of the UI structure as well, because that does bother me. I want that to be, there we go. Even though it's not going to matter once it's finished, but for my own sanity, we're going to just, so let's just do it one more time. It will say 73, enter. 73 comes through as a string. It's interesting that it's passing it on as a string, even though it's only allowing a number. So technically you would need to convert that from a string to a number if you needed it as a number. And just to do that, if you're curious, you see how it says string there? You do like a change function. I think that would be the easiest way to do that. I guess it's always a string. Oh well, I'm focusing more on getting ahead of myself. Let's just move on. Not waste too much time. All right, so we've done button, key, and now we have button. I'll just do a drop down. And I'm guessing we'll probably want a button here too, because you want to be able to enact, but so you would say allow multiple sections if message do not pass it through the output. And trying to give an example of what I would say a drop down for. Because I'm kind of running through my temperature. Let's just do temp drop down. Say 70. No, I'm done with that. Can do struct boolean. Is it a... All right, let's think about this for example. Let's just like multiple set points. So we'll just say 23 low speed setting. Say medium. Oop. 28 medium speed setting, then 32 high speed setting, and I don't want to allow multiple selections. Call this speed settings and deploy. Cancel. Yeah, cool. So now, can the options be provided by an array object to be sent to the input? Probably. That would be cool. Yep. The answer is 100%. We'll test that out. Let me get this one, and then we'll do the one that you just described, because that's pretty cool. Application. This is fun. Maybe I should just do dashboarding all the time, and that's what we're gonna do, is just dashboard non-stop on these. Maybe we'll do like dashboarding Thursday. All right, so let's finish this one, and then we'll get to the example you're just describing. So my phone is going, my watch is going like crazy. Assume? Oh, to assume the inputs. Yeah, I think that's exactly what it's capable of doing. So I looked at the settings right here. If I click on this little book down here, it'll give me the documentation associated to that. Yeah, I assumed it could. And then basically the options, it would be able to dynamic, and we'll do that in a second. But for now, let's just finish this one up, because I'm kind of curious when it sends the payload if I need a button. So if I do low speed, it sends it during the time of drop down, which you may still want a button. I wonder if you can set it up where... Yeah. But yeah, that's... Because I think about like, if I had multiple different selectors simultaneously, I would then be wanted to send it at one point in time. Yeah. Okay, so this button isn't needed because it doesn't need it. So dynamic, so we'll call this a dynamic we'll do like an inject node, and then we'll put another drop down, and then we'll just drop the debug node here too. Clear deploy, cancel. I might just actually make a page 2 now. So I'm getting a little cluttered here. I messed something up there. I didn't add a new one. 2. There we go. Okay, cool. I just want to kind of clean it up because we're starting to get where my head likes to play. You guys can't see what's going on. So nothing is dynamically chosen here. So boom, and options. Array, change the options. So for the available value string. So I can just send the values, but I could also do an array of value string labels. So let's just copy this real quick. And if I change this to JSON, give me this full string, and we'll do an array value string, and we'll call this cheddar, and it will be a value of cheddar. All right, what am I missing that's gonna make this? Do I have to put quotes around this too? I always forget JSON structures, default structure, what it should look like. I think I'm getting close. Yeah. So that is, we'll just do one label to see if we got this right. When I inject it, do I have to pass it through as a specific option? So it needs to be message, not message.payload. I interpreted that correctly? No, I did not interpret that correctly. So it is message.payload. It's a message.options. Is it really what I'm... Give it a shot. You the man, Haka. Alright, so let's now give a couple other examples. Cheddar. Let's copy this. Brie? Anybody got any good cheese labels that they want to use? Brie. Parmesan. Parmesan. I gotta make sure I spell that right. Close. And Gruyere. Oop. Gruyere. I wonder if we can use special characters. Maybe we won't use it. I say special characters like they're only special because I'm from the US and we don't use any accent marks. Alright, so now I want to run it. Dynamic dropdown. Cool. So this one will be called dynamic dropdown. This one will be like static dropdown. This one will be button with temp set point. And then form. Cool. Man, we're moving through these pretty quick. I mean, again, we're doing very, very, very simple examples. We haven't gotten to charts where things will start getting a little bit stickier. Imagine this will be the same thing. We need to work on that. Maybe that'll be something we can do as well as kind of get this radio group documentation in there. But it functions very similarly. No, it has to be dynamic. Let's see. A list of options available in the radio group. Each row defines a label shown alongside the reach radio button and value emitted. So technically it says it would work. I feel like I'm not really providing much value from these like static ones, but maybe I'll do like very basic examples for these. Because this just doesn't provide much value until you use it or display it somewhere. Do something like maybe drop it into like a text. And so when I say selector option, I say call this one happy emotion meter. We say happy, sad, and scared. Scared. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe we can try that in a second. What did I not do? Oh. Okay, so did I change? Is that to say everything was well except for that one? That's different. Did I not put those right next to each other? So if and something I've noticed, need to talk to maybe made a ticket about this. If some of these don't update if you do partial flows, so just keep that in mind. Like for example, I had issues with the markdown in which I was doing a mermaid chart. I think that was Tuesday, and it wasn't registering the updates. So just something I'm working on. So motion meter, so boom, 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 boom. Okay. We're getting through all the easy ones right now. Let's do the slider. I like the slider because I'm like a button. I haven't messed with the notification. I like that. I like that. So really whatever payload is written in there is what's going to be. So I could do something like a string that says like machine started. Machine stopped. Deploy. And there we go. Wait. So still sending. Did I not deploy that? Okay, there we go. Machine started, machine stopped. So you could do like notifications by. Okay, that's cool. And we can go more complicated as we move along. We're just gonna keep these pretty simple right now, just because at the end of the day, people want to see how the payloads go across and how they need to be ingested in egress. Okay, so we've done text, we've done table. Actually, somebody mentioned that it just might need to be an array of. array of objects. So let's do an inject node real quick. And this is going to be an array potato. Is that how? Boy. Value. So it just needs lists of options available. So it just needs to be labels. And that's obviously wrong. It needs to be like still a value colon potato. Really bothers me. So it doesn't have that selector for dynamic properties that we had on the drop down with dynamic options. So it doesn't look like we may not have. It says options right there. What did we say that was? That was value or label. We'll worry about that later. Let's move forward. All right, so we've done table. Use something that Joe gave me earlier. Give me a JSON array of data. Each object should have the following key value pairs ID string. Let's say latitude. That works. I misspelled latitude, but it'll be alright. may not have needed to do this with ChatGPT 4. Probably could have done this with 3. That's gonna take some time. Let's just stop this. Yeah, much quicker. That looks great. So now we'll do a, see what this, inject node, and give it a table. Payload is type JSON. We'll just make sure that this works. Done, deploy. Cool. All right, we got a lot of charts we got to do now. Because there's so many different types, like a line chart, a bar chart, a scatter chart. Yeah, that's nice. Give me 3 locations. Value between tip between say 0 and 100. Don't need the rest of these. Let me just double check how UI chart is supposed to look. Yeah, I think that'll work. Let's say date stamp epoch last 7 days. Please create 100 X. Ooh. Limited to reusing the same 3 locations. All right, so we're gonna have key is going to be location. X is going to be temp, and date stamp is going to be key. So save that, and then we're gonna say input inject this. Yes, thank you. Continue generating. That's what it was. It's like, we're using a lot of money. Please tell me you're not gonna just not like this. Okay. Copy. Payload is type JSON and paste. Yay. I mean, that's cool looking. All right. First of all, let me move out of the way. All right, so I'll just create a new page real quick. Cause that. Ooh. I didn't do this again. All right, you guys gonna see this. What? So I think I got my X and Y axis backwards. Yeah, Y needs to be temp. Date stamp. There we go. That was still fun because my brain just went like, whoa, that's very, very weird data. He's gonna be really mad at me when I'm like asking all these questions all over again. Encourage. Yes, continue generating. Encouraging using ChatGPT for stuff like this makes your life so much easier. Especially during testing, if you need to transform data, I've got a lot of questions about like, how do I transform data from this structure to this structure? Drop the structures into ChatGPT and say, write me a Node-RED function to convert it from this structure to this structure. Generally does a pretty good job. This again. It's about to be mad at me again. Because I'm like, but a daily sine wave. My edit button. I'm not gonna yell at it and say it's a bad response, it's just not exactly. Okay, there's my pencil. Where's my pencil? Down here. Nope. Daily. It also might not have the granularity that I'm looking for, but it'll be alright. Whatever. It works. It'll be good. So that's a good example of like data over time, and you're able to see just how you would have three different, like New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, temperature at which it was, and so forth. Any questions there? We'll call this one temp of line chart temp for three different locations. Is that gonna be ugly? Line chart for three different locations. Okay. Not beautiful, but functional. All right. Good example to tell you how the key value pairs, you can location temp, date stamp, you can be able to see that information, and then you're going to be able to see the structure of the data. I mean, it's going to be I think it's going to be helpful. All right, so let's do another chart. This time we'll do a bar chart. Let's look to see more complex bar charts. Wait, you gotta move my head out of the way so you can see it. Cool. So, bar chart for sales. This says undefined. Let's figure out how we change that. Undefined. I know that's a legend, but how do I? Sales in millions. Wonder if I can just delete the legend because it doesn't really matter. It's just money. It's like, there you go, sales in millions. I like it. Okay. What other charts do we have? The scatter part is gonna be, ooh. Let's just drop this one in. Check. Let's see if there's anything unique about the scatter plot. Because it's gonna be payload XY values. Yeah, so let's just create a scatter plot of what is that old ML machine learning like RBIs? Thank you. Mike Moneyball, thank you. That is great. I am now wanting to create another JSON data structure. This time, can we use this data will be used for a scatter plot? I would fun example would be the money ball RBI. Can you come up with a fun example for me? X. Let's just see what it does. Ooh. X is the place spent playing video games versus the level of happiness. I like that. That's so funny. I feel like it just knows me. Alright. So, video game fun. X is fun. Let's change this to a scatter plot. Action is series. What if this is gonna work? It's just gonna be a single series. So page default, we'll put a default page 3. Okay, so X, Y, string. All right, that's using timestamps. All right, so I gotta check a message real quick while that's spinning up. Just a second. All right, let's see. Okay. Can you now do 100 data points with variability and using decimals? It's a lot of video game hours. not making this data very well. They're saying that somebody's gonna be playing a lot of video games. All right, so we can just say like in a week. So it's still a scatter plot. Just let it be. It's very trendy scatter plot. Alright, so that's scatter plot. And we did the gauge. Did the notification. UI control allows dynamic control of the dashboard. Tracks side events in the Node-RED dashboard and imports them into the Node-RED. Okay. Got a good amount of examples here. Maybe we can do a markdown node real quick. Ooh. Do this real quick. Can you make a markdown simple guide for this web page on chart? Node in markdown for me to copy and paste, question mark? What if it doesn't have can you convert this to markdown code? Cool. create a new UI group, and we'll call this one new page. Markdown. Done. 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 Deploy. Page markdown. Let me make sure this is accurate. Yeah, this isn't accurate at all. I wonder if docs. Yeah, there we go. Components. And then nodes. Config. Widgets. There we go. We're gonna find the chart. We're just gonna copy that. I'll just paste that there. Ooh, that doesn't look very good. There's just stuff at the top we don't need. That stuff. Done. Deploy. That's kind of cool. So, if you're ever curious about how to drop Markdown, we'll just leave that there because that's a really good example. Leveraging literally the again, go to the website, but ooh. What would be better is if I just had links that linked out to all the different UIs. All right, let's change this up. Delete. Thanks for dashboard 2.0 documentation. And this is gonna be header 1. We say chart UI. Let's see if I can just do widgets. I wonder if there's, if I get rid of this, do we have just widgets or does it widgets? Chart UI table. I don't think this page is meant to be seen. So I don't think we're gonna do that. We're gonna stay. What happens if I go to nodes? Nope. Okay. So we'll do paste that here. Getting started. in migration guide. And UI template examples. I like this. Okay, so and chart. We'll just do this one, charts. Charts. And so now we get a just general idea. Get issues. Contributions. That's not what I want to do. So if you're wanting to contribute, go. What if that can be a link? Issues. GitHub. Choose. Boom. And there we go. We'll just see how that looks. Did this crash? Okay. So now issues. Quick start guides. Yellow. And I'm just gonna leave it like that. That's ooh, I don't like that. There we go. So quick start guides below. Dashboard, issues, contributions, flow views. There we go. Cool. And I got to go. It's the end of the stream. Oh, I liked how that showed up there. Gotta go pick up my daughter from school. All right. So I will see everyone. Maybe we'll do dashboard visualizations. Like, this is a good intro. Get started and move from here. Do want your feedback. So if you're wanting to see these individually, or would you like to see them in one large example? Let me know what your thoughts are, and I should be dropping these in the example documentation somewhat soon. All right. Thank you everyone for following today. Hope it was interesting, and we'll see you next time.